guys, hang around today. Today I'm going to fix the screw up I made on the bass drum head. And how I fix it, it's an easy way to get a ported bass drum head sound, but without knocking a big hole in there. So stay tuned. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, Todd, the cheap drums guy. Oh, crap. Bass drum resonant heads. Out of everything regarding my drum heads and whatnot, I've had the most bad luck and just bad everything with the bass drum resonant heads. On my other two kits, my Drum Zone and the Sound Percussion Lab kit, I got brand new Aquarian regulator heads to fit it. A fantastic head, nice and thick. I have no issues. It really changes the sound of your bass drum. They sound really good. And that's just the resonant head. There's a couple reasons why I ordered brand new ones to begin with, though. The Sound Percussion Lab kit, when I got it and when I ordered it, it had a bad resonant head. It was ripped around the edges, which is no problem. That's why I ordered the Aquarian. The Drum Zone kit, I had to order after I'd already had it, because I tried something online in order to try to put the hole, what they call microphone holes or the port hole, whatever you want to call it, in the bass drum head. And I followed a video where it was taking an old tin can and heating it up red hot on your stove burner, and then using that and right through the head. It was working fine. It was working great until it got stuck. And then I tried to remove it and it ripped the head. Big old tear right through it. Shit. Didn't work out too well for me. So there was a second Aquarian head. Not a problem. Luckily, the Premier had the original resonant head on it, and it had those big holes that a lot of the older Premiers do, and I love it. And it's again, it's also a nice thick resonant head. Now, come fast forward a couple months until I received the Pearl Soundcheck. Now, the Pearl Soundcheck resonant head, as with a lot of beginners drum sets and whatnot, they have the absolute cheapest flippin' head you can put on it. Well, I was experimenting again, and I made a mistake. But you're like, but ooh, Todd, you don't make mistakes. You don't mess anything up. Ask my wife. She'll tell you otherwise. Or just watch me and I'll prove it to you. Anyways, so I wanted to try something different with this head. Now, with it, the Pearl head being as thin as it is and fairly delicate, I didn't want to attempt to cut the big hole in it for the microphone or just the port. One, because it's so thin, there's a really good chance you're going to rip it as you're trying to cut that port. And I should say, I didn't have anything to really reinforce that ring, because once that hole is cut in there, anything could come by. I mean, one of my dogs could come down there, look in the hole, jump up on it to see what's in there, and rip it. So I was looking through Sweetwater, looking at their bass drum resonant heads, and I saw a DW head. And I thought it was kind of interesting, because on the DW head, there was a series of smaller holes around the circumference of the resonant head. And I'm like, I don't really need the big hole in the front. I don't need it ported. I don't stick a microphone. I don't stick anything in there except a pillow. Much to my wife's displeasure, I took all her good pillows. But anyways, so I thought, well, that's kind of a cool idea. And so I got stupid again. While the resonant head was still on the bass drum, I pulled out my crusty little Tressman drill, and I was going to drill little 1/4-inch holes all around the head where the lugs were, and they lined up. And I thought I'd be, super cool guy and do it that way, and everything would be fine. And everything was going well until I reached down towards the bottom. And this guy forgot that the pillow was in there. Shit. Anywho, the drill bit goes in, cuts through the head fine, grabs the pillow behind it, and tries to pull it out, hence ripping the head. Well, once again, I've proven to myself that I probably should think things through a little bit better. No problem. Just a small little tear, okay? And I found a way to correct that. Now, I could have just ordered a brand new resonant head, put an Aquarian head on it, which is real strong head. I mean, really nice. It's got a reinforcement ring on there and a sound ring on the outside. Only thing is, as far as buying them, the Aquarian regulator is one of the least expensive. They're only like $38. They're less than $40 for a new resonant head. And it's a fantastic head. Holy crap. Once I got that, I could choose between 2 different colors. I could actually get a white head. All my bass drum heads are black. I could put a white head on one, and it'd probably look pretty cool on the Pro Kit, actually. Or I could just put it on one of my others and put one of their black heads on that one. But as well as getting the head, I need to get the logo too, because I do want the Pearl logo. So not only are you buying the head, you got to go somewhere online, find the vinyl Pearl decals or decals, whatever you want to call them, and apply that. And then I've got to use one more of my tags, and I've already pulled this one off twice, and I think I only got one more left, and I don't plan on ordering any more of them. So I got to be careful. So I'm like, well, what can I do to fix this? And the solution was pretty simple. Now, of course, we had to get my wife a Cricut machine. It does all the crazy cutting out vinyl things and all that kind of crap, because she was going to do all this art fair stuff with her daughter, which never transpired at all. So it's just been collecting dust. However, she's got a crap load of vinyl up there. And so I decided, well, I still want to do that little hole thing around the head, but I do need to reinforce it somehow. Well, first I had to take it off the damn bass drum, like, knucklehead that I was. So, as you can see, I got it off the bass drum. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it really good, but where is it? There it is. Yeah, some dummy ripped it good. And so I decided, as I was drinking one of my little frappuccinos upstairs, and I'm looking at the cap, and I'm like, that cap is about the perfect size of that hole. So why don't I just get a piece of that black shiny vinyl that's adhesive on the bottom, and use the frappuccino cap and cut out the little circles, little discs for reinforcement rings around it, put them back on, and then take the drill out, and instead of putting it back on the bass drum like a dingleberry, I will re-drill it on top of the block of wood, so it'll have no problems just going through the head and not encountering anything else. So I plan on doing that. I am going to add those little black discs all the way around it, and then I'm going to drill my holes. And these will probably be little 1/2-inch holes instead. I mean, I like the sound you get from a ported head. You get better attack from it. The Pearl Soundcheck, God, I love this drum set. It's this wonderful sound. However, the bass drum is kind of fluffy. It just, it doesn't have a lot of attack because the head's not ported. Some people like it that way. Maybe jazz drummers will like it that way, I guess, a little softer tone. However, I want attack. I'm a soldier. I need that attack. It just sounds cool. But in order to get that attack, I've got to port the head, and I don't want to put the big hole because I don't want to reinforce it. Now, I could have just bought a brand new pearl resonant head. However, I mean, there's plenty of them to choose from. However, whereas like the Aquarian regulator is $38 for a brand new resonant head, a brand new pearl resonant head is $60. Yeah, 60 bucks. And you know, it's probably the same paper thin head, just with the pearl logo on it. You're going to pay for the name is what you're doing. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that crap. That's just stupid. So anyways, I'm going to add those discs to this, a little reinforcement pads, and then drill the holes in it. And I'll have a ported bass drum head, or at least I'll get the same reaction from this head as I would a regular ported head, because it is vented now and allows the air to travel out better and give more attack to the bass drum. So let me start knocking this out, eh? Okay, I got all the vinyl patches made from the Cricut vinyl. I mean, you don't have to use Cricut vinyl. You could use duct tape, gaff tape, anything that'll match the bass drum head. And if I can see it, you can see the patches I made to go all the way around it. Now, of course, I wasn't smart enough, and I didn't mark them off while it was still on the bass drum. So I had to take one of my stacks apart here and actually put it on another 22-inch bass drum in order to get it lined up right. Because again, I don't really think ahead of things all the time. But she's all good. You want to get all the air bubbles out that you can. Not that it's really going to matter that much. And you really don't, if you look on it head on, you really don't notice it. I mean, you will once the holes are drilled, but it's hopefully it'll serve the purpose. The main thing I really want those patches on there for is to reinforce the holes. So in case I do bump it or kick it by mistake, it's not going to tear up, you know, a fairly decent head. Because I am not paying $60 for a brand new pearl resonant head. Hell no. Anyways, let me go get the drill. Battery all charged up. Now, I'm not sure what bit this is. I just call it the big one because it's the biggest one I have. Now, I'm not using any science or mathematics or anything. I'm just going to drill in the center. I'm just going to wing it. Who cares? Oops. Well, it's not the prettiest, so I'll have to clean that up with a razor blade later. Oh crap, that's what I was expecting. That's what I was afraid of. Well, this could make it or break it right here. So I don't want to drill down too much because this is actually one of the shelves that my snares are sitting on. Granted, it's got a little couple cut marks in it, but generally when I put the shelf up there, I have a piece of bubble wrap over top. I mount my snares in there, I put the snare wires down, and they sit on top of the bubble wrap just so that they don't, you know, sing out while I'm playing. So, but the holes are coming out all right. They got to be cleaned up a little bit. I'm really concerned about drilling it like this again to clean up the holes. So I'm just going to drill the initial holes this way and then go upstairs later on and use a razor blade and clean them up real good. This is good enough for now. you get the general idea of what's going on. And once again, I'm going to have to vacuum down here. The only place in the house that's got carpets down here in the basement. Of course, genius that I am, I keep the vacuum upstairs. I need to do this kind of quick because my wife's going to come down and use the hot tub that we keep out in the garage, just so we can use it all times of the year. And while she's in there, she uses her medical marijuana for, you know, she has really serious pain issues with her legs. And figure I'd do it before the haze, the purple haze comes through here. I'm going to walk around with, you know, bloodshot eyes, or eyes more bloodshot than they usually are. Uh-oh. There's a trick to put it in that hole that I keep drilling, so. All right. As you can see, it's got holes all the way around it now, just like that DW reso head I saw. I got to clean up these holes still, clean up the head. You're going to get that little bit of crap drilling the hole. I got to redo that one too. You're going to get that. It's drills aren't made for. This isn't made for cutting through thin vinyl, so, and it's not going to be a perfect hole. If you're looking for perfection, go to Drumeo, or Sounds Like a Drum. You're not going to get it from my channel, but you see what you get the gist of what I'm doing. Granted, the holes are only about a ½ inch, but with the 8 of them drilled into the head like that and reinforced somewhat, it'll allow the bass drum to have a little bit more attack that I'm looking for and not feel so fluffy. But I mean, and this is the safest way that I can do it on a super thin head, because I don't want that big hole, because there's a really good chance with these really thin heads, because moving my drums around, I bump into things sometimes that inadvertently kick the front heads, and I'm just worried that that larger hole will weaken the structure too much. So that's the way I did it this way. You know, this is, nobody told me to do this, but I just saw the DW bass drum head that was for sale. Sweetwater offers them. I don't know what they were expense wise. I don't need to put a DW head on a Pro kit, but I thought I would try to mimic it, and it seems to work for them, so why not work for the cheap drums guy? But anyways, this is just made this a real quick video to show you what I'm doing, and you people have a good day. Remember, it's March, spring is coming. I just saw my first robin of the season. What was it, 2 days ago? Now, being from the state of Michigan, from 1837, baby, Michigan is a wonderful flipping state with the 2 peninsulas, the UP and the LP, the Lower Peninsula. Fantastic state. Our state bird is the robin, which is a member of the thrush family. Not an unattractive bird. However, like most people over 65 in this state, it's a snowbird. Meaning, once those little flakes start coming down, it makes a beeline south. God knows, no one up here likes being up here in the winter half the time because it's Arctic conditions sometimes. But when you get older, people have their little vacation properties in Florida or Alabama or wherever they go down south. And the robins are the same way. 99% of the robins fly south for the winter. But the important thing is, when those little turds come back, That tells you something. They come back for a reason. If your spring is on the way and it's coming, the robins will start migrating north. They like it up here. And 2 days ago, I saw my first robin. And I had made mention, I got to one of the job sites I was delivering to, and I was talking to one of the contractors about it, and he goes, I just saw 2 robins last week up in Northport. I'm like, oof. So that means definitely spring is coming. And for northern Michigan, it's very welcome, because this has been just a very strange year. Very strange. Well, it's been a strange 4 years, but this winter season has been very different. It's just been up and down and fluctuating. There's been no the only consistency with it is that it's been inconsistent. So, but anyways, I'm gonna clean up these new little ports, clean up the remainder of the head, put it back on the bass drum, and see what I came up with. Mo better. It's great.